If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Sia, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben, and this is Sia. I was reading the other day about Sabrina Carpenter. Now, I don't know her music from Adam. You could play a song of hers on the radio, wouldn't have a clue with her, couldn't tell you any of her songs. Doesn't matter. What impressed me is that she took the same song and released it 7 different ways. She took the exact same song and did it a little faster, a little slower, a little country, a little bit more rock, different ways of interpreting the music with the exact same, same lyrics, same beat, just pimping it up a little bit. Yeah, reimagining it. I was going to say pimping it up a little bit. And I just sat there and went, how brilliant is that? Because in today's world, different people listen to the same ideas differently. The same people that listen to you on Instagram are not the same people that listen to you on Facebook or LinkedIn or X or YouTube. It's the same ideas you're trying to get across. It's the same philosophies you're trying to get across, but different audiences resonate with content differently. So why not give people content in a way that they want to digest it? Give the people what they want in ways that they want to embrace it. Because just because you like doing YouTube shorts, somebody else may like long form content. And if that person who likes long form content is actually going to be a client of yours, this is somebody who's got need, opportunity, and the money to pay you for it. Why wouldn't you invest the time and the energy to be able to give it to them that they want instead of the way that you want? So, Sia, let's gnaw on this.
So I'm cracking up that you are quoting something from Sabrina Carpenter. She's a child actress that's turning into music. And it's funny because now I've got her stupid I'm a Singer song, which is very popular on the TikTok shorts and all that stuff right now. And then she's got this other song that I thought was pretty neat. Not my style of music, but the fact that you're telling me she decided to do a song 7 different ways. I've not heard that. So we need to listen to this, sir. But I like the idea though of her recognizing that her song could be sung in 7 different ways.
Exactly.
Because it might appeal to different audiences. Brings me right back to a conversation I had. I'm going to shout out Mark Turnbull, Caring in Oregon, is a aggregate where he's a huge advocate and he's a founder and owner of some healthcare companies for the continuum of care. So it's like once you do home service, there's palliative and then there's hospice, right? It's just that whole thing.
Yeah, it's a continuum.
And he gave me the name of this book, and I'm drawing a blank, and the name of the author, so I'm really double blanking here, but it's about storytelling.
Yeah.
And he was saying, in all things, you have to think about who is the protagonist, right? Who's the hero, protagonist? Right. Who is the mentor or guide? And who's the villain of the story arc, if you will.
Exactly.
And I call it tension in the story, right? So for you to say, guys, whatever it is that you are producing, what content and whatever message it may be, understand that when you're catering it, you got to cater to what the audience wants. You, as a creator, are not the hero of this story.
No. Your audience is the hero. Your
audience is the hero of the story.
Exactly.
You could be the guide or mentor, facilitating the hero's journey. And then obviously understanding the business conflicts. I'm extrapolating like a mofo, but the business conflicts is the villain of the story arc that you're overcoming.
Exactly.
And you're just totally like bringing it back, and I love that you said it. So thank you.
Well, it's true because I have a keynote that I do, and I've done at least 100 times. All right, called "Telling the Story of Change." I will guarantee you, maybe I've told it the exact same way 5 times.
Yeah. Oof.
Different analogies, different references, different, cadence, change the stories up in terms of their order, different pacing, different energy levels. And it really depends on who's in the room. Because when I go to a conference, I don't just show up, head for the green room, put on my headphones, chill out, wait till somebody taps me on the shoulder, goes on stage, does my thing, get back in the limousine and head for the airport. I'm there for the weekend. And I hang out at the conference and I have lunch with people and I walk into, different lecture halls with people and I go to the trade show people and I talk to people. And I'll incorporate those conversations into my keynote. And I'll sit there and say, okay, what are the biggest, things that you want to take away from this conference? And I'll change the keynote on the spot to be able to make sure that it resonates with the audience in front of me. I'm not going to tell the same stories to lawyers as I am to engineers, to I am to a whole bunch of marketing people. You're going to tell the story differently. Engineers, you're going to get right to the point. Lawyers, you got to have a lot more facts involved in it. The marketing guys want to hear you embellish it.
Mark, if you just want to give you a glass of sippy sip, and then whatever message they'll take it.
Exactly. You sit there and you walk in with a beer in your hands on stage.
Or maybe that's sales. Maybe that's more sales than marketing. But either way.
But I just look at it and sit there and say, if we try to tell the same story in the exact same way to our audiences across our companies, guys, it's going to resonate with 5% of the people, maybe 10. We need to realize that different people grab information differently. They process it differently. They internalize it differently. They recall it differently, and they retell it differently. And trying to sit there and say, well, we sent out a memo. I don't understand why people don't understand this. Well, 5% of those people probably did. 5% of those people actually did read the memo because they always read the memo and they got it. 95% of the people, oh, God, another memo. God, I don't want to read through another memo. This is the 17th memo I've got today. I'm not going to read this memo. Forget it. Can't be. If it's really important, they'll tell me again. And that's reality. So we need to be able to look at the world and sit there and say, okay, we've got a variety of people that all think differently. They all interpret differently. They all internalize differently. How can we create a variety of different content models that enable us to capture not everybody, but the vast majority, and then position in such a way that those people can tell the story to others and facilitate the conversation and reach out to those other 20% that just aren't getting the content directly from us.
It's true. It's true. I mean, God, you're just making me drift off here and just, timing and value of timing, right?
Yes.
Is so inconsistent. And you never know when you'll catch someone when they actually need you at that moment in time. So again, it goes back to you just keep putting it out there because it will resonate eventually.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. Man, you're making me really think.
I look at this like billboards at the side of the highway. 1 million people go past that billboard every single day. Okay. The vast majority of people don't even realize that billboard is there, let alone what it says. They're concentrating on other things. They're looking left when the billboard's on the right. Their eyes are on the traffic. They're talking to somebody. They're listening to the radio. They've got 100 different things going on. But over time, those same people drive past that same billboard every single day. All of a sudden, they start realizing the billboard's there. Then they read the message. Then eventually they get the message. And eventually they do something about the message if it resonates with them. That takes time. That's why billboards are there. It's not to capture everybody the first time. It's to enable people to be able to internalize the information over time and with various exposures to that information. So we need to be able to build our content in different ways that people go, oh yeah, I remember hearing something about, what was that you were saying again? Okay, now I get it. It's
and the patience for it.
Yeah.
There's too many people, clients that I talk to, they're like, no one's been responding to it. Well, sometimes they don't need to hear it now, right? Mm-hmm. Like some of the services that some people provide are very situational.
Mine is one niche, of those. Yes.
Right? And I think that's where you got to understand, as long as you keep putting stuff out, it will be found. Because once people Google and they Google whatever it is that service you provide or whatever message you're going and can convey, it will most likely pop up there if you're consistent about it. If you're doing a one-off and saying it failed miserably, so I move on to another thing, you should not be surprised you're not being effective.
It's people who spend all their money on a full page ad in the New York Times and never advertise ever again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's I made a big splash. Everybody should see it. Well, no, not really, because it was on page 32 and 95% of the people never get that far back.
I mean, you're now making me think of all the like Super Bowl ads. Remember all the startups that were flush with cash and they're like, Bazumba Bazubas, and you're like, the heck is this brand paying $2 million for an ad, right?
Exactly.
And that's, I think, the fallacy of, oh, I should make a splash, therefore everyone will buy our product. It's like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Right?
Where Budweiser's been advertising on the Super Bowl for 20, 30 years.
Because they have a brand that already knows.
Well, exactly. But people are expecting the Budweiser ad from this year.
Yeah.
People are expecting it. I mean, there's the Apple 1984 ad, okay? It was shown once. It was shown once. But I will tell you that ad has probably been seen 1 billion times since by people Googling it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those ads that went viral and continues to be viral 20 plus years later, 25 years later. Do I think it's that good an ad? No, I don't. But the people who do resonate with it, and it's become part of the Apple folklore.
Yeah.
But 98% or 99.9% of ads will never be that lucky.
Yeah. We can keep going on this.
So here's my call to action for the audience. And it's really this simple. What are you doing to make sure that your story is being heard, not by everybody, not by some people, but by the people that matter? People that not only have want for what you do, have need for what you do, but can afford to pay you for what you do. And keep talking to those people in ways that reminds them, hey, I'm here when you need me. I'm here when you need me. And it may be 6 months from now, it may be a year from now. You're still going to need money in a year. And it's being patient with it, and it's being consistent and having content that adds value to them on a regular basis. So not only do they read it, not only do they internalize it, but they share it. I'm Ben.
And I'm Sia.
And we'll see you soon.
Hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not On This, Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at yourbrandmarketing.com or me at brilliantbeammedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. So see you next week for another episode of Not On This, Business Bites.